Okay, it is now Friday, the 1st of October. We're at a place called Castlefield, which is at the bottom of the Rochford 9. The locks were very hard to get through. It took us a lot extra time than what we thought. So we ended up taking this mooring as a sort of an emergency mooring last night. We're actually on a water point, but it's well tucked out of the way. One of the locals suggested that we park here tonight and take it as it comes. But it's quite a built-up area. It's called Castlewood Docks. There's bars and there's railway lines and tram lines and roadways, and there's been workers here, and up until a couple of days ago there was some big concerts, so there's even more restricted access. So be happy to get out of here. We actually didn't notice how noisy it was last night, but because we were absolutely exhausted from trying to get down those locks. So anyway, this is just a general panoramic view of it. A couple of old working boats, wide beams, that I believe are being restored. So anyway, we'll push off and we'll catch up later on.
Right, well, after doing a 28-point turn, basically to turn ourselves around so we're facing the opposite direction there, and then say hello to the captain who's worn out. We're both worn out. We've got floating bollards at the end there because of the concert, so we couldn't get too close to that. We've got other boats moored up on each side. At least with this one, it was deep enough to move. The opposite direction we had a chance to go into, you go too far, you actually get stuck on the mud. So we decided that the tightness of the corner was better than the mud. So this is basically the area that we stayed in last night. It was a horrific day yesterday. We do have a little bit of sunshine. You see the sunshine up there? But they are forecasting rain again. There goes the tram. They've got a tram very much like Adelaide that goes from one end of the city right through to the suburbs, which is really good. And then they've got the major trains which bring people in from the far outer suburbs. So this corner we've got to do a sharp right, and we're off the Ashton Canal onto the Bridgewater Canal. So sorry about the jumping about. I've got it on handheld at the moment because we just don't know whether the rain's going to start up again. Well, one thing about Manchester is that they have a lot of metal, cast iron, bridges, beautiful bridges. Oh, there's a train there. There you go. There's a train. So yeah, they've got these beautiful cast iron bridges all over the place. The old buildings are absolutely beautiful. The brickwork is lovely. But it is a vibrant, growing, young city, and there's a lot of bars and a lot of places for people to go. Last night the area on the other side of us was absolutely pumping, and it was a Thursday night. So yeah, it's a young city with lots of young people. We got stuck in one of the underpasses yesterday because the amount of water going over the locks was so much that we couldn't actually release the pressure. And there were half a dozen young lads underneath the underpass, which we were a little concerned about. We didn't know how to take them. And after a little bit of friendly chatter, they realised we were from Australia, and we started talking, and then the next minute we had 5 burly young lads helping us push and pull and clutter over locks, and it was absolutely beautiful. They saved our bacon because there was no way we could have, even just the two of us, been able to open up that lock with the amount of water that was pushing up against it without those young lads. So, okay, Manchester has a bad reputation, and we've seen what the nasty parts of it, but there is a lot of youth here that is looking at the positive and absolutely loving the future that they've got, loving the football that they've got. They're very much into their football. Manchester United is a very strong football, we call soccer, team, and they're very passionate about it, and they're very passionate about life. So yes, Manchester's not the best place to stay, but the people here, a lot of the people here have a very positive attitude. Alright, I'll shut up now and do some cruising. So I've got one more lock.
One lock, which is a long way away.
Swing bridge, wasn't it? Okay. This was where we were trying to get to last night, but as we swung around, another guy came in and snuffled it, so that was the end of that. That was this guy here. This is the City of Canals, and you can actually hire that and have dinner on that. You park, you don't actually go down the canal, but it's just a novel idea. And it's not just narrow boats that use the canals. We do have a lot of power boats of various and launches of various different types.
Still steep.
So they're still restricted to 4 miles an hour no matter how big and fancy the boat is. And as you can see, all the lovely old bridges, the architecture. A lot of this area here would have been factories, warehouses, where they would have got all the raw materials and then transported the raw materials to the factories and then used that to ship the finished products back to wherever they needed to go. There's a lot of little dead ends. Some of these little canals have been closed down, but there are a lot of these arms, so the boats could slide in there to try and help with the congestion of all the other boats moving around, moving in, moving out. It's Friday morning, round about 9 o'clock. No, earlier than that. 20 past 8. So we've got bright and early with all these people going off to work. And yeah, it is as I say, a vibrant city, and there are people and traffic and sirens everywhere. The old railway bridge, which is still carrying trains. Australia. As you can see the graffiti. Kids have got to have something to do. And this is the residential area. There's a lot of units around here. Well, we'd probably call them flats, they call them units. Weather is such a contrast from yesterday. We would not have been able to see this jogger coming with the rain that we had yesterday. It was so heavy and so full of drops that we could not have seen that jogger. That's how much rain. It's very cold this morning. Craig doesn't seem to notice the cold so much. I've got as much warm clothes as I can find that's not wet. Same with Craigus.
Supposedly 13 degrees.
13 degrees with a chill factor of 10, I reckon. So, but at least we've got our wet weather gear on to try and stop the cold from coming through. And just in case, because the weather does change very, very quickly here. So, yeah. It's so nice to be reasonably dry. We had the heaters on last night, using a lot more fuel than we thought, but we just need to be able to dry things out. Everything's got that dampness to it, and it's not much fun when you're trying to stay warm. So, I'll catch you later. Lucky with the herons. They've come out to say hello to us. suppose, that we're coming up to is called Sale. I used to live in Sale with my parents. There was an Air Force base there. This is a little bit older than the Sale that we lived in, and it's, by the looks of it, quite an old place. I think this is one of the towns where there's a lot of black and white buildings. There's a beautiful one coming up on the left. I'll show you that as we come through. We were aiming for this town last night, but if we had have kept on going with all the things that was happening, we would have got here at about 9 o'clock at night. Considering that the sun starts to go down at 7, we would have been cruising in the dark, which is not a particularly good thing to do, and we were stressed and tired enough as it was, so I'm glad that we didn't push it. It means that we're actually on schedule, not ahead of schedule, which we were before, but with the locks that we've gone through at down the Ashton, and with the handcuffs keys that we had to use to unlock the anti-tampering mechanisms on all the locks through Manchester. It just took so long, and with the rain and the wind blowing us to the sides, we were fighting an uphill battle yesterday, and yeah, so anyway, we're on time now. It's a gorgeous looking town. It's coming up 5 to 10. We've just had ourselves a bicky and a cup of hot chocolate, which has warmed us up and made us feel a lot more positive. The sun is trying to come out, so it's great. So let me do you a quick squiz. I love the sound of this cafe restaurant. It is a chain one, but the slug and lettuce certainly would save a lot of water if we had the name of that in our restaurant, because we wouldn't have had to wash away the slugs from our lettuce. So what was the name of the pub we were going to try and get to last night?
I think it was this one or the other one across the road, I think.
So this is where we were hoping to have had dinner last night. As it was, we ended up having toast for dinner last night. We were both so tired. And soup. Sorry, we had some soup as well. As you can see from the architecture, some beautiful old buildings. See the really old part of the building where they've got the herringbone bricks up on the top section there. The big slate on the roof. Even got the hatch where they probably would have collected bits and pieces to put them upstairs, put them down into their cellar. We have got miles and miles of moored boats, so it is going to be a very long trip. And I'm thinking that we were probably going to be pushing it to try and find somewhere along here, by the looks of it. Oh no, hang on, it's a boat club, so this is private moorings. Have to be careful of that. Oh, couldn't get to see it. Can't get to see it. This is the side of the property that I was trying to show you, where it's got the black and white. Unfortunately, from this side there's nothing but the brick. These are stop locks as well, As you can see, they're pretty hefty. They've have to use the winch to be able to get them in place, but it is an extremely wide canal. And again, if there's any problems, they have to stop the water from going into a certain area of the lock. They drop those down in between the sides, and that acts as a barrier to stop the water from coming through, so that they can repair, clean, de-silt, which they have to do sometimes. A lot of the old buildings along the canal have had their windows bricked up, not because of the window tax, but because people have taken them over. They've been turned into office blocks and houses, and they don't need the windows on that side. So with the modern brick, it is quite a contrast, but you can actually see how many windows, how light they tried to make their work areas, because in the older days, of course, they were struggling to get light into their buildings, and it wouldn't have been a particularly nice place to work in a very dark building lit with kerosene, candles, and then the basic electric lights later on. Oh, that doesn't look good, does it? Oh, even the herons made a home on it. Yeah. What a shame.
Quite enjoying one, buddy.
welcome to the Trent and Mersey Canal. There we go. That's us. I'm just going to go downstairs and turn the lights off, because we turn the lights off inside in case there's an emergency. We can see where we're going inside the cabin.
You got any more instructions?
Yes.
Alright, so navigator.
Well, there you go. We were classed as professionals. These guys have not done a lock before. So they obviously picked this up during the straight time because this is their first lock. So we've had to explain to them how and why and where. I'm pretty sure I explained it as clearly as I could. So good luck to them. I hope they enjoy it.
5 o'clock.
Alright. Now we have to try and work out where we're going to stop. Okay, well we finally found a spot for the night, and we've already said hello to a few other couples that also found that spot for the night, and we're on our way down to the local pub, which is obviously a pub that a lot of the boaters use. So we're walking down a little wooded area between two farms. One farm has already planted, and not quite sure what it is. Could be wheat, could be barley. And the other guys are just harvesting potatoes.
They're almost done by the looks of it.
And they're almost done. So the ground is like chocolate, absolutely amazing stuff. But they've had a really nice day for it. And this is the other field over here. So they're going to have a good day. Anyway, we're going to get across this mud and we will see you at the pub. Okay, so we're on our way to the pub. It's a well-worn path. Craig said it's going to get down to 9 degrees tonight. But with the sun that we've had all day coming in through the windows, the actual interior of the boat's quite warm. So it should be comfortable. Don't know what it's going to be like in the morning when we wake up though. Probably a little bit cool. Oh, it looks like it's quite busy. I hope we can get in. See, they have the book swap. It's a great idea. That way? No?
Yeah, that's
That
it.
way.
Right there.
Right.
Sure, looks
Well,
like a popular place.
There you go. You've even got the local farmer's brought his tractor down instead of his car. Oh, we've got some steam trains and steam stuff, and looks like we might have... Shall we go and have a look? It's wonderful. It's like they've had a little bit of a... Oh, look, they've had a little bit of a... Do you want to go for a walk around the outside?
Alright, walk around the outside.
Looks like they've had some sort of a steam get-together here. Oh, look at it, it's amazing. I'm a little bit late, unfortunately. So that's what you call a little house. Well, we certainly can't grab any of that because we've got no place for it.
Get the smoke out.
Hello.
Love, that's what it's all about.
I know, it's lovely, isn't
You
it?
see the smoke, that's the picture.
Go in there, don't you? You'll never come back out.
It's like a TARDIS, you reckon?
Oh,
The black hole. It's gorgeous.
Rather go yourself, one. Rather go yourself.
Good evening. Oh, this is wonderful. Which way are you going? This one's still steamed up. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a massive one like that, and then there's this rock trailer under the road, and that was some of the structures and
Now this would be worthwhile having. Isn't it cute? Ah, look at that. There you go, David. Think about restoring something like that. That's brilliant.